Right? I would say that this was Portnoy passes to Ducker, who shuffles it off to List to close it out here, right? Thank you, guys. That now, if you are a sports fan, this is your moment. We are in a sports vortex right now. Last night, the Winter Olympics opening ceremonies took place in Italy, and I will say that my adopted favorite Olympic sport, curling, has already been competing for a few days. Team USA competed on day 2 of competition against Norway and won the round 8-6, with many more stones to go until the finals. USA, excellent. And tomorrow night is the Super Bowl, the Seattle Seahawks against the New England Patriots. Straw poll here. Raise your hand for the Seahawks. A fair amount. Okay, raise your hand for the Patriots. Far fewer. Raise your hand if you're totally indifferent. Okay, so I would say the Seahawks and indifference are winning here. It has been attributed to Rabbi Solomon Schechter, a founder of conservative Judaism in America and president of the Jewish Theological Seminary beginning in 1902, the discoverer of the famous Cairo Geniza in 1896, and the namesake of many Jewish day schools across America, that Schechter said, unless you can play and talk about baseball, you can never get to be a rabbi in America. And Schechter emphasized that understanding American culture was essential for rabbis who were, in his time, born and trained in the 1900s, in the 1800s, the 19th century in Europe. For them to understand America, its customs and traditions and mores, Schechter correctly identified sports as a central component of understanding America. I will add, I agree, it is baseball, not football, that really highlights the essence of America. He said that over 100 years ago, and I believe he is still right. Sports holds a unique place in American society. It can bind us together, and it is also a mirror revealing the fractures in our country, racial divisions, economic disparities, and a field for culture wars. It is in this reality that the Blue Square Alliance Against Hate emerged to use the platform of sports to address hate broadly and anti-Jewish hatred specifically. The Blue Square Alliance Against Hate, previously known as the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism, was founded by Robert Kraft, owner of the New England Patriots, in 2019, with a mission to stand up to Jewish hate and all hate by inspiring Americans to become active allies in the fight. Key partners in this effort are also Josh and Mitch Rales of the Washington Commanders and of Bethel. Their efforts are to use the platform of sports in America as a conduit to re-marginalize hate and anti-Semitism directly to audiences who might too easily be bystanders in the workplace or school or in social settings. Through TV ads during major sporting events like the Super Bowl tomorrow, the Blue Square campaign is lifting up the power of allyship, of the impact of small kindnesses and community interconnectedness, and that hate has no place in our neighborhoods, sports fields, and locker rooms, or as a sly aggression in hallways. I'm wearing a blue square pin as a symbol that hate has no place here. Hate is a base emotion. While not explicitly named in the Ten Commandments, which are in this week's Torah reading, adjacent emotions are certainly warned against. Do not lie, do not steal, do not kill, do not covet, and affirming positive attributes of honoring your parents and your spouse and God and Shabbat. We as Jews have long grappled with being part of America, long before the horrors of October 7th. And the years of commingling anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism, Jews have been central to America and also never fully accepted by it. Whether it be Franklin Foer's excellent 2024 article in The Atlantic titled "The Golden Age of American Jews is Ending," or just this week, Bret Stephens' talk at the New York's 92nd Street Y in the State of World Jewry address, we are reminded that we should walk with a degree of caution as well as a deep pride in who we are. Those may seem like contradictory impulses, but we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Let me explain. America has always embraced us and been cautious about us. This past week, after 30 years, I reread Philip Roth's book, Goodbye Columbus. And Roth captures so many of the tensions and hand-wringing of being Jewish in America in the 1950s. He bases the story in Short Hills, New Jersey, with the subsequent short stories in the collection so recognizable to that part of the country. Tensions of old world Jews and the assimilating American Jew, country club Jews of Livingston and those Jews who have not yet made it in Newark. People who are claiming their Judaism when they get something out of it, and all of this as the Holocaust casts its shadow on American Jews at the time. Roth captures how we see ourselves during that period. But even earlier, we can see how others saw us. 20 years before Goodbye Columbus was published, Felix Frankfurter was a nominee for the U.S. Supreme Court. It was 1939, and Frankfurter was one of Roosevelt's closest advisors and was Roosevelt's nominee to replace Justice Benjamin Cardozo. Let me read just a bit of the Senate confirmation transcript. Alan Zoll is testifying. Zoll is a founder of a group called the American Patriot, which was considered a far-right organization. Zoll: there are two reasons why I oppose the appointment of Professor Felix Frankfurter to the Supreme Court of the United States. One is because I believe his record proves him unfit for the position, irrespective of his race. And the other is because of his race. Senator Neely from West Virginia: you are opposed to him because he is a Jew? Zoll: I think that I can give you a reason for that, not because I am anti-Semitic, but quite the contrary. Neely: your statement would indicate that you are opposed to him because he's a Jew. You oppose his appointment because he is a Jew, but still you're not anti-Semitic? Zoll: that's quite right, sir. The whole transcript of the hearing is shocking to our ears today. How explicit, open, and blatantly anti-Semitic it was. Of course, Frankfurter becomes justice on the Supreme Court and serves until 1962, when he stepped down after he suffered a stroke. Anti-Semitism can be seen in its explicit forms, like on the political right, rallies of Nazis and white supremacist skinheads, or on the political left, college campus rallies calling the IDF soldiers Gestapo. Those are the extremes. Anti-Semitism in its most pervasive forms is often far more subtle, though. Bari Weiss, before she joined CBS, wrote in her book, How to Fight Anti-Semitism, she writes, anti-Semitism is fueled by the malicious, but often feeds on the ignorance of the well-intentioned. Let me say that again. Anti-Semitism is fueled by the malicious, but often feeds on the ignorance of the well-intentioned. Battling it means being able to accurately recognize and describe it. She says, the first problem is understanding anti-Semitism is that this particular enemy is not a person or even a set of people. It is not even a solid idea or a singular theory. It is a shape-shifting worldview that slithers away just as you think you have pinned it down, and in doing so stays several steps ahead of anyone trying to clobber it. The second problem is that it is unclear what this protean worldview actually opposes. Sometimes it seems bent on eliminating a religion. At other times, it seeks to erase a culture or destroy a particular group of people or eradicate a state. This leads to further complications. What exactly is the anti-Semite attacking? Most American, including many American Jews, understand Judaism as a religion, she writes, or as an ethnicity, because these are the modern categories by which we understand much of the world. Christianity is a faith. Latino is an ethnicity, and so forth. But Judaism and the forces that oppose it, which today we call anti-Semitism, greatly predates and thus does not fit any of these far more recently constructed categories, despite how aggressively some try to shoehorn it into them. She concludes, Judaism is not merely a religion. It is not merely an ethnicity. Judaism is a people. So we are not going to be able to argue or to explain or to capitulate our way out of being hated. We can do all the kindnesses the world wants us to do, and we should, because these are the kindnesses we are commanded to do. As Jews, we are commanded to visit the sick and to feed the hungry, care for our community, respect our elders, offer gratitude through prayer, and help strengthen our community. But it does not mean that we will be liked for it, no matter how much we do. These are some of the core values which are deeply rooted in Judaism, and they may never get us to be liked by parts of society. We may have to be cautious about the extremes of society and point our efforts on two segments. The first is ourselves. We must stand with pride in being Jewish. We should stand tall to be part of a people who value what Baha ibn Pekuda, our 11th century sage from Spain, called chovot halevavot, our duties of the heart. We must live our life knowing that Judaism wants us to use the insights of our heart and mind to improve our lives, to engage with others, and to rediscover God. And I'm proud to be Jewish, with all of its nuances and complexities and beauties. The second is to not let the haters define us. The old joke is, if you want to feel good about yourself, read what the anti-Semites are saying about us. Right? If I believed them, I would be so much smarter than I actually am, so much richer than I am, so much more powerful than I actually am. And of course, I would already have ended the cold spell since we control the weather too. But seriously, maybe I need to listen to the haters less. I cannot let them define me. I am Jewish because it adds to my life in important ways. I'm Jewish because it guides me to be a better version of myself. I am Jewish because I am allowed to struggle with what it means to be Jewish. And I am not alone in that searching. It is a journey which began with Avram Avinu, and it will not end with me. I'm wearing the blue square pin because it is an effort to remind each other that hate has no place here. Kraft and Rails have organized the NFL and the MLB and NBA and other major sporting leagues around this campaign. They will use their platform to lift up the message that hate has no boundaries. They will bring the message to millions who are watching the games, but I am wearing the pin because we are sending that same message in our own community. Hate has no place here either. There are pins available for you in a basket outside the chapel, and please take one and wear it. Take a few. I have plenty to share. That we will not allow prejudice or hate, bigotry or bias here. We will do the hard work to see beyond these base emotions and act in partnership to build connections and maybe even friendships throughout the broader community. We will stand proudly as Jews, and through that self-awareness be able to stand in partnership with others. I believe the Ten Commandments want nothing less from us, and I believe Judaism expects the best of us. Shabbat Shalom.